Welcome. Coaching Youth Hoops. Take
How you doing,
two.
Coach?
This is take two. No one will ever hear take one, Coach.
Yeah, so
We
yeah.
were about 3 minutes in, and then my daughter called and needed something. Then we had to stop. So we're restarting. Making fun of my deep voice. Anyway, we can't. I
Well,
guess you can't
it's
go
funny.
back.
Yeah, we could add the bloopers to the end, maybe,
Yes.
Coach.
Yes.
When I used to do a lot of speaking engagements and conferences, and it's my early tech days, and it would uh every time I got on stage, literally a few words said, my phone would ring and it would be my wife. I can't tell you how many times that happened where it became a joke, and I used to say, "Hey, I bet I'm going to call for my wife." So I would actually purposely leave my phone on. And I can't tell you how many times it happened at that moment that my wife called. She knew I was on stage, so I'm going to give him a call. And it was, hey, can you do this when you get home to, it's one of those types of things. No emergencies or anything, but
That's
anyway,
funny.
just like your daughter just called.
I know. It
Uh,
is.
Coach, what are we talking about today?
Hey, no, before we do that, they know what we're talking about. I always think it's funny because they know we're talking about tryouts. Otherwise, that's why they're tuning in. They've already
That's
seen
why they're
it.
tuning in.
But let's give a big shout out to Game Changer.
Yes, go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Game Changer is my tool of choice to help me organize my team, communicate with my parents, track stats, provide player feedback, and parents can see live streams of all our games and or practices if we're recording those. And it's gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Check it out for
Perfect.
more information.
All right. Player tryouts.
Yeah, player tryouts. This is probably one of our biggest questions. I would say top 5. How to handle player tryouts, what to do during player tryouts. We all obviously want to pick our perfect team, right? Now you think about a youth and what youth teams go through. A lot of times it's a draft. At least it is for us. We draft players in our rec leagues teams. And you want to have the right mix of kids.
I always say it's
Uh,
like it's like making soup.
Making soup, yeah. Yeah.
It is because let's say we're making vegetable soup. It's got to be the right mixture of salt and potatoes and vegetables. And the thing is, your soup might be different than my soup.
Yeah.
And they both might taste really good. But you might want more onions and I might want more celery. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't actually love celery in soup, but anyway. Uh so I think it's a mixture. There's a little bit of a science to it. Um but there's also a little bit of like
Luck.
a little luck and a little bit of freedom. Like good cooks, like I was cooking the other night and I was grilling out and we had chicken, we had salmon, we had broths. You know what I'm going to do for all of you right now, all you coaching youth hoops listeners? I'm going to give you my secret ingredient to the perfect beer broth. Do you want to know the secret ingredient? Do you
I
make
do.
do you make beer broths in California?
It's been a minute. I
Okay.
have though. Yeah.
So you grill onions and peppers in the bottom of the big pot.
Hmm.
This is the kicker. Okay. Then you grill those up. So it smells really nice in the kitchen. You pour the beer in, a couple bottles of beer, throw a little bit of water in. And then the key ingredient is a little brown sugar in the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little brown
Makes
sugar
sense.
in the water. And then you boil the broths for about 45 minutes. And the beer and the brown sugar and the peppers and all of that kind of get salt and pepper too, a little garlic salt, and then you throw them on the grill. Will be the best beer brats you've ever had, guaranteed.
Have you
Guaranteed.
experimented with different beers?
I tend to go cheapest as possible
Okay.
because it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
I've done really
Definitely.
expensive beer. I've done really cheap beer. You really can't tell because a
Can't
lot of
tell.
it burns off. It does get
Yeah.
inside the casing, and I am from Wisconsin and do like a good brat, but you shouldn't eat more than 2 or 3 brats a year. I know. Sorry, Johnsonville. Uh, How did we get on brats? How did
I
that? Oh, making a team.
oh making soup,
But making
the tryouts, yeah.
like when you cook, there's a feel to it.
Hmm.
Like I don't measure out the brown sugar. I don't measure out the salt. I know the feel. I know what it should be, and I know what it should taste like when it comes out. And that's
Well,
similar
let's
to
talk about from
tryouts.
the top though. So
But
I'm
before we do that,
running.
one big shout out to Game Changer. Let's give a big
Yeah,
shout out to Game Changer.
yeah, absolutely.
What's the URL again?
Yeah, gc.com/coaching youth hoops. Go check out Game Changer.
Okay, go ahead, coach.
Oh yeah, so starting like tryouts and organizing tryouts, what to look for. Your evaluation form is really important. But also as a coach, what's your philosophy? What do you want in your team? What's important to you? You know, but let's talk about the day of tryouts, picking the right drills. uh, you've had experience doing that. Are you doing stations? There's a lot of times in our boys teams, there's 40, 50 boys in a gym, and we're trying to evaluate them all at one time. Um, Easier if, it's their third or fourth year in the program, right? You kind of know what to expect. And um,
I think it's got to be a mixture of station work, of skill
mhm,
work, where you can see because you can do some skill work with dribbling and shooting in big
yeah,
groups pretty easily. Um, and then you got to let them play,
yeah,
and we tend to do a lot of 3-on-3 when we're doing breakdowns and playing rather than 5-on-5.
us
Um,
too. Yeah.
because you can't hide 3-on-3. Like you're gonna have to touch the ball, you're gonna have to dribble, you're gonna have to shoot. Um, but we have some great like we have a great evaluation form that coaches can get. Where do they get that, coach? Because
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
cool.
it is really helpful. It's a good tool. Yeah, if you go to coachingyouthhoops.com/season dash checklist, not only will you get that evaluation form and how to run tryouts, but it that checklist has everything you will need to run an effective basketball season. It asks lots of questions to get you thinking about the details of planning practices, planning tryouts, planning your communications with your parents, post game. I mean, your philosophies on defense and offense. It's pretty detailed
It
list. So
is, and I think
go to
what I
coaching youth.
think.
Oh, one more
Go
time,
ahead.
coach.
Yep.
coachingyouthhoops.com/season dash checklist for more information. It'll also be in the show notes.
Okay. I think when you're doing cuts at any level, I don't care if you're making a cut on an NBA team, you
Mhm.
have to have communication, you have to have compassion, you have to have a reason, you have to like obviously sometimes it's money at the
Right.
professional
Yeah.
level. But
Yeah.
how are you communicating those cuts? How are you talking? Like, are we at the youth level? Are we calling parents? Are we calling kids? Are we telling them they made it? Are they some of them not making it? All of those things I think are very important at the youth level because to be honest with you, we're building young people rather than basketball players in a lot of respects. And how we
Yeah.
build those young people into being better young people that can eventually take care of Coach Bill and I someday in the nursing home. Uh, maybe trying to build good
uh,
citizens too, I think. And so I think
yeah,
that
that's
empathy
right.
and
No,
that
that's so
compassion is
important.
important, I think.
No, you nailed it on that one. The not only having effective tryouts and evaluations, but then if you are a program that does cut players, uh, having players understand why they may get cut and what you're looking for, and communicating the process of that is so important. Uh, how many? So, talk about length of time. What are your like, if you're looking at, let's say you're evaluating fifth grade boys, right? Uh, you have 30 kids in the gym. Are you looking at an hour and a half, an hour? Um,
Yeah, at least an hour and a half, and probably more than
yeah.
once. I don't necessarily like one tryouts. We don't tend to
Mm,
do that in our program. We tend to do multiple days. First of all, because there's conflicts. Maybe they're playing baseball, maybe they're playing football, maybe they're
mhm.
doing something else. They're playing rugby. I don't know. So I want to give them multitudes of chances to show their stuff, but also I know it's hard to believe. Coach Bill and I actually even have bad days once in a while. Players can too, and that's why I don't
Yeah.
necessarily want just one event to make that final decision or that pick. I think.
We used to do multiple days. We went to one day. We usually pick a Sunday and then a makeup day. Makeup days are always kind of tough because it's hard to evaluate one player against the whole group. But we
Yes,
did two, and it was just so time consuming. We have a
it
big
is,
program though, a big
and it's
rec team,
hard.
rec
It's hard to
league.
get
So
people to
people
come,
to
and
volunteer and right
I know.
to yeah, and you have expect the coaches to come back for 2 days for a few hours at a time and have their kids. Yeah, so we went to that. That seemed to work for us. But like you said, we start off with some drills, some basic drills, ball handling drills just to see how that is. But then most of it is made up of just playing 3-on-3. We do end with 5-on-5, full court, right? Seeing how they get up and down the court. We're constantly subbing people in and out.
Yes, yes.
And we have two tiers in our league. So there's an American, we call it American and a national. And
Are they
we
equal? Are they equal?
no, they're not equal.
Nationals
So
better.
American,
Oh,
American's better than national. And then we start off
Cub
with
fan. I want a national.
an hour or no, maybe the 45 minutes of the evals, we start separating into the American National, and then we're constantly moving, and we have two big courts or multiple courts, depends, more than two, I mean. Then we're moving kids back and forth to see, oh, can those players shined over on the national side? Can they hold that up in the American side? So we give kids every opportunity to stand out. We also have a matrix that you've mentioned where we just, one through, I forget the number we use, 1 through 3, and then, we just weight them. Sometimes obviously, it's pretty easy. You always have those bubble kids. We have 10 people on our American team, and we only have one of those, and we may, depending on the number of kids, we have multiple national teams with 8 to 10 kids per team on that. So that's how we do it. In and out in an hour and a half, approximately per grade. Um, Sometimes we'll have to go to two if there's a bunch. We
Do
have
you
kids
have
and seniors.
the coaches evaluate, or you have outsiders evaluate?
So we have one outside evaluator come in who has no kids. Sometimes we bring in college players to do that in the local college to ask them if they would evaluate for the American team.
Right,
Uh, and then the coaches evaluate all of the other players more so. The coaches are doing it more so to say, oh, gosh, here's my top 20 kids that I'd love to draft, right?
right.
Uh, yeah. And, we don't rely too heavily on them to pick the American kids. We rely on that outside evaluator to help us decide on
Yeah.
who should be
The
on that
outside
court.
evaluator can help with the bubble kids too. I have found
Exactly.
that to be a useful thing because those are the hard. Everyone tends
Right.
to know the best kids in the gym. It's the other ones that tend to be a little bit harder. Um, yeah,
And really good point. That needs to be addressed too. We have no cuts, so everybody makes a team, but you also have to be prepared for kids who are, in our case, were on that upper American team who now the following year they don't make it and they're going to go
right,
on a national team. Usually our athletic director will call those parents and say directly and say, hey, Johnny
right.
didn't make it this year, but
Here's
yeah,
how and why and yes,
exactly. So our independent evaluator thought there was, a few better players. Um, right? And
right,
whatever else they might say, but
yeah.
yeah.
to make it to make the spoonful of sugar go down better. Yes, whatever
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
exactly. It's
yeah.
always tough, right? You
It's
got to
always
remember
tough.
you're dealing with kids, so they get,
And you don't want to
it's harder
necessarily
for
turn
them.
them off. That's the thing with
That's right.
tryouts. It's like you
Yeah.
don't know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of things can change. All right. Anything else in closing, coach? Give that
Yeah.
URL again for
Yeah.
everybody.
Go to coachingyouthhoops.com /season dash checklist. And again, season dash checklist. We will we'll share our evaluation forms with you. We have a practice plan for your tryouts. You can download that there as well. And uh, just an amazing checklist for your entire season, questions that you can ask yourself as you're planning, as you're in season, and as you're thinking about doing your postseason. It's a comprehensive checklist, has 80 some questions that you can ask yourself to just be a better coach and a more organized coach.
I love that. All right. Till next week, coach.
So next week.